Welcome back, everybody. Matt the Mad here. Hope you're having a good early 2022. We're finally in 2022. I don't know where 2021 went. It was an interesting up and down hill of 2021. It ended on a more downhill than uphill by the end of the year. And we're starting down as we start 2022. And the next couple of months are going to be very interesting for me. I'm going to let you know now, come the end of January, early February, you might not see any podcast for a good while, a very good while. So just letting you know ahead of time, if you think, oh, we just quit doing podcasts. No, I have something coming up soon, and it's going to take me out for a while. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about Spider-Man. I know, Matt the Mad here. Are we ever going to talk about Batman? Well, we will and we won't. That's another one of those, will I even get to see the Batman movie in March? Maybe not. So that's where I'm at. When you realize you might not even be able to see the Batman movie. Oh boy. Oh boy. But we're going to talk about Spider-Man. And today's topic of Spider-Man, and this is going to be a little bit spoiler-y, talking about Spider-Man No Way Home. So in Spider-Man No Way Home, by the end of the movie, Peter Parker has no more love interest. Dr. Strange did a spell, wiped everyone's memory of Peter Parker being Spider-Man. That included his friends, Ned and MJ. MJ, Michelle Jones Watson, aka the Mary Jane Watson of this MCU universe. No more love interest, no more MJ. And we have already seen in the Tom Holland trilogy, you know, he had Liv Allen in Homecoming, and then in Far From Home and No Way Home, he's had MJ, played by Zendaya. Well, so that leaves it open. Who's going to be the new love interest for Peter Parker / Spider-Man in the next Tom Holland trilogy, in the next Spider-Man 4? Now we knew, before I jumped into the two characters I think are going to be the next, possibly be the next love interest, we still got to remember that Betty Brant, played by Angourie Rice, is still alive, even though, yeah, her memory got wiped, that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. In the comics, Betty Brant does become a love interest at some point. She also goes to work at the Daily Bugle as a secretary. If you remember in the Tobey Maguire movies, Elizabeth Banks played Betty Brant as the secretary in there. So there is a possibility that Angourie Rice ends up being the new love interest for Peter Parker in the next set of movies. I have a feeling that will not be the case. I have a feeling that Betty Brant will be in the new trilogy, but work for the Daily Bugle, and maybe just be a friend to Peter Parker, but not a love interest in Peter Parker. So then, who's gonna be the new love interest for our Tom Holland's Peter Parker moving forward? Well, I got two possibilities. One is Gwen Stacy, and two is Felicia Hardy. Now, Gwen Stacy we have seen already in the Andrew Garfield 2 movies, The Amazing Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. We had Emma Stone playing Gwen Stacy. Still one of the best on-screen chemistry between superhero and love interest by any superhero film. So it would be hard to replicate something like that. But, and also we already know what happens to Gwen Stacy in the comics. So, we saw it in the Andrew Garfield movies. So why would they bring in Gwen Stacy then? Well, let's get into Gwen Stacy. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to talk about the character, and then I'm going to go into my honorable mentions and 5 picks for who can play Gwen Stacy, and some honorable mentions and 5 picks of who can play Felicia Hardy. So, let's get into it. Gwen Stacy. Yes, in the comics, Gwen Stacy is one of Peter's loves, like the love of his life, but she gets killed by the Green Goblin, and then Mary Jane Watson comes in. Well, and then there's another version in another universe where Gwen Stacy is with Peter Parker, and Peter Parker dies, and she becomes Spider-Gwen, like in a Spider-Man suit, her own Spider-Man suit, and she becomes kind of like the female Spider-Man. I have a feeling that Marvel and Sony would go down that route if they do bring in Gwen Stacy, for her to be the love interest. But then by maybe the third new film in this new Tom Holland trilogy, Tom Holland's Peter Parker will die, and by the second or third act, you'll see Gwen Stacy become Spider-Gwen. And maybe, since they've already hinted at Miles Morales in Homecoming and in No Way Home, there's also a possibility that they introduce Miles Morales in this new Tom Holland trilogy that sets up Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen down the road. So, or they can set up Spider-Gwen by the first film in this new trilogy. You know, her Peter Parker died in another universe, he comes over here, maybe something Doctor Strange did in No Way Home, and here we have Spider-Gwen with Tom Holland. So let me get down to my honorable mentions and my 5 picks for Gwen Stacy. Now, my honorable mention is Joey King. Joey King has been around since he was a little girl. If you see like Oz the Great and Powerful, the first Conjuring. He's also been in a lot of TV, limited series, getting Emmy nominations. Yes, he's in those Netflix movies, The Kissing Booth. I don't hold those movies against her. But she has shown a lot of range as an actress. And as she's gotten older, you know, she's starting to look more like that love interest type. Once again, Tom Holland is 25, and Joey King is 22 years old. So, you know, she's in her 20s, so that would work. The next person I have on my list is Kaitlyn Dever. So my next choice after Joey King is Kaitlyn Dever. Once again, I just said she's 25 years old. She's exactly the same age as Tom Holland. She's in a lot of Jason Reitman movies. She was in the movie Booksmart, the Olivia Wilde movie. She's young. She looks like someone who can be playing that. And they were just going for that Gwen Stacy, you know, schoolgirl, you know, very smart. You know, the guys want her. You know, she has the look. She's the right age. So I think she would be a good choice. Another choice is Georgia Wingham. She's 24 years old. Some of you probably don't know who she is. She was in The Punisher Season 2. Yes, with John Marenthal on Netflix. She was also in the 3rd season of Scream on MTV. She was very good in The Punisher. I mean, she really held her own with John Marenthal. And she, like I said, she's 24 years old, just a year younger than Tom Holland. She's not a name that a lot of people know, which, once again, if you want to get someone that isn't too popular, that everybody knows already, I think she would be a great choice. She has the look. She's shown a lot of range between The Punisher and Scream. She's fairly new to the industry, and I think she has a great personality. So that's who I would, as another possibility, as an honorable mention. So now let's get into my top 5. Okay? And starting with number 5, I am going with Peyton List. Peyton List, some of you are looking at that picture right now going, she's the girl from Cobra Kai. Yes, she plays Tori Nichols on Cobra Kai. She was in season 3 and season 4. I think she was in season 2. But she is 23 years old, so only 2 years younger than Tom Holland. But, like I said, if they wanted to push her to become Spider-Gwen down the road, she has a long time and she can sign up for a 5-picture deal, 7-picture deal, if she wanted to. She's still fairly new. Yeah, she was on Disney Channel at one point. Like I said, now she's on Cobra Kai. She can do the action. So if they made her Spider-Gwen, we see it in Cobra Kai, she can do all the karate and the action moves. She has the blonde hair. She has a great personality. So she's definitely a number 5 in my top picks. Number 4, I went with Abigail Cowen. I don't know much about this girl. I know she was on that Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which I'm going to bring up another actress on here that would be perfect for the role. She has a look. Yeah, she looks more like a Mary Jane Watson. Well, just like Emma Stone, who had red hair, and she changed her hair blonde. She has that look that you would say, schoolgirl, a girl that every guy would want. She's the girl that you easily see Peter Parker, wanting, desiring. She's 23. So once again, another actress that a lot of people don't know. I know she has a movie coming out in February. That's going to be like her big breakout role. But this could be her major breakout role as Gwen Stacy. Let me see. Number 3, I have Madison Iseman. She's 24 years old. I brought this girl up a lot in other casting opportunities. She was in Jumanji. She was in Annabelle Comes Home. She was in a few other movies on Netflix. She was just in the remake of I Know What You Did Last Summer on Amazon Prime. She definitely has a look for Gwen Stacy. Even with the shorter hair, if she became Spider-Gwen, she would literally be like coming off the comic book pages. She's 24 years old, just a year younger than Tom Holland. She showed that she has dramatic chops. She can be romantic. She can be like we saw in the first Jumanji movie. She can be the hot girl, popular hot girl that everybody wants. Gwen Stacy. And once again, she's still one of those people that isn't on everybody's radar still. And it would be probably a great opportunity for her to jump into a big movie like a Spider-Man film and become like the second lead and jump her career off, just like what Spider-Man did with Tom Holland. My number 2 is Kiernan I don't know if I'm saying this name right, Kiernan Shipka. She's 22. This girl has been around for a very long time. She's almost like Joey King. Started out very, very, very young. You might remember her as, I forget her first name, but John Draper's daughter in Mad Men. She got a lot of Emmy nominations for that. She's been in that Sabrina the Teenage Witch on Netflix. Other than a week ago, I would have been like, no. But after seeing a picture of her and looking at, here is some fan art that somebody did of her in the Spider-Gwen costume, and it's perfect. It's a perfect look. And she has the talent, like we saw in Mad Men. She also has a little bit of that smart-ass quality to her. That if they wanted to add a little punk smart-assness to the Spider-Gwen role character, like they did in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. She's my number 2 pick because I think she would literally be dead on for this role. It would not even be a question. Yeah, she's a little bit younger than Tom Holland, but she's in her 20s. And I mean, if she was in Mad Men with all that adult content in there, I think she can do Spider-Man. And I mean, I don't mean new Spider-Man. I mean, you know what? We're going to leave it at that. Maybe she will do Spider-Man. Why not? She's a love interest. And my number 1 pick, not a surprise here, I brought this actress up many times when it comes to casting, and that's Mackenzie Foy. Once again, going back to even like I just said, The Conjuring. He was in The Conjuring with Joey King. He was in Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey. He was just recently in the Black Beauty remake on Disney Plus. She's 21, yeah, she's a little bit. She's one of the younger ones on this list. The youngest, in fact. She's 4 years younger than Tom Holland. But, even, she has a look that you would say that is Gwen Stacy. Forget the blonde hair. That is Gwen Stacy. And like I said, she has worked with talented people from Matthew McConaughey to Vera Farmiga to Keira Knightley to Morgan Freeman. And she still hasn't gotten her shot. Like, she keeps doing these movies like Black Beauty, Nutcracker, Interstellar, but she still hasn't hit, she hasn't broken out yet. And her getting cast as Gwen Stacy, just like with Emma Stone, people forget, Emma Stone wasn't that big of a name yet when she was when she did the first Spider-Man movie. Yeah, she had Superman, and she just did Crazy Stupid Love the year before. But until she was in The Amazing Spider-Man, not many people said the name Emma Stone. And then after Spider-Man, it was just like, boom. And she's been on a roll ever since. I think Mackenzie Foy would be the perfect Gwen Stacy. And like I said, if they wanted to start her out as just the college freshman, I mean, it would be perfect for her because she is 21. She would fit more of that freshman in college age, even more so than Tom Holland, who's already 25. But he still looks like a college kid. But Mackenzie Foy is my number 1. And those are my honorable mentions and my top 5 picks for maybe seeing Gwen Stacy in the next Spider-Man film with Tom Holland. Alright, so let's get into the next. I got 2 love interests, one Gwen Stacy, and now Felicia Hardy. Felicia Hardy becomes the Black Cat. Now, before people say something like, didn't he do a video on Felicia Hardy like a month and a half ago? Yes, I did. And yes, I did. But the problem with that video was most of those actresses were way older than Tom Holland. Once again, at that time, the Spider-Man movie hadn't come out yet. So I didn't know if Tom Holland was going to be thrown into the Sonyverse, and that could have been a possibility. But now that he's still in his own Marvel universe, I said, you know what? Let me redo Felicia Hardy with actresses that are more in line with Tom Holland's age. Once again, Felicia Hardy becomes the Black Cat eventually. And the reason why I think they might do this before they even touch Gwen Stacy again is because we haven't seen the Black Cat, aka Felicia Hardy, or Felicia Hardy, aka Black Cat, yet on screen. Yes, Matt, Felicity Jones, Felicity Jones played Felicia Hardy in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but they never did anything with the character, and they never made a sequel to The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which would have shown her becoming the Black Cat. And yes, the Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire was going to have Anne Hathaway play Felicia Hardy, but that movie was never made. So, it goes to the point that, no, they haven't ever had Felicia Hardy as a love interest. Outside of the other love interest in Peter Parker's life, they've done already. So now they have an opportunity with this new trilogy to introduce a new love interest that has never been on screen before. Also, the interesting thing about Felicia Hardy is, aka Black Cat, she doesn't care about Peter Parker. She thinks Peter Parker's a loser, an idiot. She's only interested in Spider-Man, which is very interesting, and something we haven't really seen before, because all these other love interests like Peter Parker. Spider-Man was just a bonus. But here, you have an opportunity now to mix it up a little bit and have the love interest only want Spider-Man. Who knows? That means they can technically have two love interests, a Gwen Stacy and a Felicia Hardy. One for Peter, one for Spider-Man. I don't know. That can get very naughty. Very naughty. Very interesting, but very naughty. But we don't want the Twilight of Spider-Man. We don't need Peter Parker to be in a love triangle. But let's get into my top 5 picks for Felicia Hardy. Starting with number 5, Victoria Pedretti. Now, this actress is still new, but she is very talented. She is a year older than Tom Holland. She's 26. You might know her from The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor, You, Season 3, and You, Season 4. And, You, she plays Love Quinn. She marries Joe. Very toxic relationship. But she has that little craziness about her that for a Felicia Hardy Black Cat, it would work. Because Felicia Hardy is a little bit naughtier. You know. A girl who dresses like a cat is clearly naughty. Haven't you seen Catwoman? She has this interesting look on her, about her, that you put her in the Black Cat suit, it would work perfectly. She's still new. Like I said, she has so much range. Just watching The Haunting of Bly Manor and You Season 2. You Season 2? Yeah, what season are we on? You season 2. Let's just say that. I'm getting my Cobra Kai and you mixed up. You season 2. You watch during the Honey and Bly Manor, and you season 2. And I'm telling you, the range that this actress can show is amazing. And that's what you want in Felicia Hardy. And that's my number 5. Number 4, Maya Hawke. Maya Hawke is 23. She is the daughter of Uma Thurman, who played Poison Ivy in Batman and Robin, and the daughter of Ethan Hawke, Training Day Officer Hoyt. And she's new. She's still up and coming. But obviously, a lot of us, including me, know her from Stranger Things Season 3. She was the best part of that season. Great season, but as a new character, she was the standout. She was the highlight of that season. And she has a certain look about her that, seeing her in the black cat suit, not bad. Maybe she can do better than her mother and have a successful superhero movie. Sorry, Uma Thurman, but Batman and Robin, it killed the entire comic book industry. Way to go. My number 3 is Madelyn Cline. She's 24. Once again, another actress, brand new. People know her from Outer Banks, seasons 1 and 2. Like a very new actress, but she definitely has the look. Beautiful, blonde. You know, she's 24 years old. Her next breakout role is going to be in Knives Out 2, and we'll see how she does in that. But this could be, if she nailed Felicia Hardy role, this could make her the next Emma Stone in terms of breakout movie roles and set her up for a while. She showed in Outer Banks she can be the love interest. She can be a little bit bossy, have a little bit of an attitude. You know, definitely someone that would... Madelyn Cline is definitely somebody who would not give Peter Parker one chance. Not one. But Spider-Man? Oh yeah. I'll take him, not him. No Madelyn Cline, number 3. Number 2, Sydns Sweeney, 24 years old. Just a year younger than Tom Holland. She's also new. She was in a couple shows on Netflix. She's been in the Euphoria show on HBO with Zendaya, of all people, who played MJ. She was in The White Lotus later last year. That was also on HBO. She's been in some movies. She's gorgeous. She has the look of Felicia Hardy. You can't deny that. She's talented. She's brand new, pretty much. Once again, I would rather get someone who's fairly new than somebody we know already. You think you just remember them from their other movie roles. But if you get someone like a Madelyn Cline or a Sydns Sweeney that nobody really knows, they become that character, and that's who you remember her from, or that actor from. Like Tom Holland. Other than one movie before Spider-Man, he's Spider-Man to me. Robert Downey Jr. He's Tony Stark. You know. Other than they're bad actors, and that's the only role that they're good at. And just when you connect with someone, because you haven't seen them in anything else, they become that character for you. So, Sydns Sweeney, she has the acting chops. She is gorgeous. She's 24 years old. She's another one I can see going after Spider-Man and not Peter. And my number one pick is Anya Taylor Joy, 25 years old, same age as Tom Holland. She 100% has the look of Black Cat. She can play mysterious look. She has a mysterious look to her. She's pretty. She's blonde. She's been in a lot of movies. Gotten a lot of acclaim. Going back to Split, Glass. Last year with Emma. She was in The Queen's Gambit, where she got Emmy nomination. She was in The New Mutants, the best part of that movie. She was in The Witch. She just got the role of Furiosa in the Furiosa movie, taking over for Charlize Theron. I mean, she was just in Last Night in Soho, the new Edgar Wright movie. This actress can do it all. She has a mysterious look to her. Gorgeous. My number one pick from Black Cat. So that's all for me. I really didn't have any honorable mentions for Felicia Hardy. I mean, I'm sure there's other actresses out there that we could pick. But for now, between Gwen Stacy, Felicia Hardy, those are my picks. Matt the Matt here. Tell me, who do you think would be a great pick for either a Gwen Stacy or a Felicia Hardy for Tom Holland's new love interest as Peter Parker / Spider-Man?